Oh, great comeback. I take you got that from your 9-year-old cousin?
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house.
Why is it always a house? What about the apartments? You don't want to leave out the children in the apartments waiting for Santa, now do you?
And the apartments. Not a creature was stirring.
Except for the assholes in 2B. That was one hell of a Christmas Eve party.
Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
A mouse? Ah, you're in an apartment, that's a rat!
The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
Ah, another tradition I never got. Hanging dirty laundry over an open flame to store treats. Oh, my candy cane melted. Well, then again, I don't really want to taste Dad's feet.
The children were nestled. Friendship is Witchcraft starts off at Swarm of the Century. They started in the middle of Season 1, where we already introduced the characters in the show, as well as their personalities. Here, the audience is just supposed to accept the fact that Fluttershy's a cult leader, Rainbow Dash likes to say her name a lot, Rarity and Applejack are war veterans, Twilight's an awful and unlikable pony, and Pinkie Pie's the only one that makes sense. You can't thrust the audience into this without introducing the characters in the first place. Okay. Can he fix an episode directly? Maybe the episode you had a personal vendetta against. Case in point, Leap of Faith, or Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000 Improved.
Well, Leap of Faith has a different plot, different setup, and oh yeah, an actual moral to tell. And to me personally, they don't compare as much for me. Anyway, Josh Haber so far uses every formula that was dug out of the Writing for Dummies book, so to speak. There's no really manual for that, and he uses them to death. Castlemania was a montage to various haunted house cliches, in simple ways was a personality switcheroo, and Leap of Faith is of no exception as its plot is a phony cure-all scandal.
Well, let's have a closer look. The episode starts off at a swimming hole with the Apple family. The only one not taking part in the festivities is Granny Smith, as the episode establishes her fear of going back in the water causes aches and pains everywhere. She was a former daredevil, go figure.
Choose Big Mac.
I don't know. Oh, that reminds me. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, come on! Shirley was not referring to... Big does not automatically mean... Oh, you bronies ruin everything!
Rage quit.
He's never gonna ask Miss Cheerly to be his very special sun pony.
Maybe he doesn't have to.
Huh?
If we can get Big Mac and Miss Cheerly in a really romantic setting, I bet she'll ask him.
Isn't it usually the dude's job to ask girls out?
Well, unless it's a Sadie Hawkins thing where the girls ask the guys, Equestria does seem to be predominantly female after all.
If only we're that way in real life.
I know, man. I know. So... map in Twilight's castle when activated by sitting on their respective thrones. This, of course, was foreshadowed in Rainbow Rocks if you look closely at Rarity's throne. The map uses their cutie marks as indicators to travel to a faraway town, run by a lone unicorn named Starlight Glimmer. Every pony seems to be happy and very friendly, but is there something sinister hidden under those smiles and equal sign cutie marks? As always, we start with the story structure, and compared to last season's premiere, it's about on par if not a bit better. On initial watch, the story seemed clunky when transitioning from part 1 to part 2. However, on second glance, each plot point was well placed, and the moments that felt awkward were followed up on later in the episode, such as Fluttershy's naivety towards the townsfolk. When watching the season opener, it felt like the episode was something right out of the Twilight Zone or the X-Files. Strange happenings in a far-off place
Was in the rift.
Sorry, I needed to establish an audible connection to your channel.
Great, now I'm hearing voices other than my evil self. Now I know how A and Y felt during our crossover.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was here for some reason. Hey Looney, why am I here?
To talk about characterization in Magical Mystery Cure.
Ah, right. So, you want to make a My Little Pony what works?
But I already reviewed Magical Mystery Cure.
But you didn't talk about characterization.
Yeah, I did. Twilight's character development and congruence with the hero's journey.
But what about the other characters?
Say what now?
The other members of the main 6?
Well, I'm a reviewer. Well, the difference being one's a hobby, the other's sick obsession. I'll be honest with you, my parents do not care for it. I think I made someone angry. Yes, I did.
Look, mate, you know who does analysis? Dopes who talk out of their flank for the majority of their videos. Reviewers have standards. Be set up. Be entertaining. Give constructive criticism to anything that comes your way. Here's where we get to see why I love this comic. It understands comedy. Hell, what Twilight's reading off reflects the show in some way.
According to this book, comedy is based largely on timing. For example, a lead up to something only to reveal something unexpected.
Polsky, take it away.
Twitchy tail? Twitchy tail! It's gonna fall! Something's gonna fall! Run for your life!
Ugh, Spike, honestly, you're overreacting.
This says comedy is based on the absurd. It requires an element of strangeness or basic misunderstanding by a character.
Pinkie Pie in a nutshell.
Now, it says here that one of the basic tenets of comedy is hyperbole, if the extremes of a character or situation are overdone or ridiculous in size.
Simple ways and Hearts and Hooves Day. However, before Twilight says why the rule of 3 doesn't always apply, Luna uses her royal caps lock, but calms down asking to see someone who's an expert in the practice of comedy. Enter Best Pony. No, the real Best Pony. One that's actually prominent in the foreground. Okay, now you're just toying with me. Of course, I'm talking about Pinkie Pie. After some funny moments, including a bit where Pinkie discovers the caps lock key, she agrees to help Luna get ponies to like her.
Now, I taught a lot of ponies to be funny. I take it very seriously.
Now, this I have to commend the writer Jeremy Whitley for, taking the art of comedy seriously. French actor Sacha Guitry once said, "You can pretend to be serious, but you can't pretend to be witty." Meaning, comedy takes effort. You have to actively try to make people laugh. Otherwise, you just come across as not being funny, and the reaction you could get could range from awkward silence to anger. Sure, Clapones take notes.
Say,
BronyCon, yes? I just have one question for you. Are you ready? Yeah! I can't hear you! I said, are you? Well, if that's the case, maybe.
Ooh. Don't interrupt.
For the hundreds in attendance at this panel room, for the thousands roaming the convention hall, to the hundreds of thousands who couldn't make it to this illustrious event, and to the hundreds who will eventually watch this panel up on YouTube.
Ooh.
Let's get ready for a Q&A panel!
Fillies and gendercoats, boys and girls, children of all ages, today, BronyCon brings to you the best of the best reviewers in the whole MLP analysis fandom! And now we can get to the panel.
Panel.
Get on with it!
Yes!
Get on with it! Get on with it!
Get on with it!
Get on with it!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Comedy for the Team. I'm your host, Mr. Reason, trying to do two pretty whites who can't just go to So yeah, today we're going
Is this a rift?
Yes, indeed. Ever-changing, ever-growing. And to think, all of this started with an idea to collaborate on a season finale over a year ago. You remember, right? I was one of the lower-tier analysts, and you were one of the big four with Paleo, Digi, and Tommy. You were silly and analytical, I was snarky and critical. It was as if the odd couple were ponyfied. We were about to talk about Twilight and Magical Mystery Cure, and then, with a small explosion, the rift was created. Ever since then, I've been documenting the activity that happens in the rift. Every analysis video, every review, every instance that involves an unexplained crossover. While I haven't collected every crossover, I mean, I'm not a Watu the Watcher, I can say that the story has progressed tenfold. It actually reminds me of what happened in MLP. Think about it, we have something that changes up the status quo, Everyone reacts to it differently, most with open arms, and now we finalize it to affect everyone.
So, you really want to close it?
Well, that got me thinking. Story arcs tend to be contained within their own time frame. Take a look at any individual storyline in comics, such as Death in the Family in the Batman books. That ran for